Alright, well, after that bit of a technical delay, we are back, and this is a 5th and final, or 6th and final? I don't know, like 30th and final, it seems like. Game of the day between. This is definitely a good one. We got the Luckerdogs on the red side, and a White Lightning on the blue side. We already have a lot of bands coming out here, because apparently we have technical delays every champ select and in-house. Ari, Evelyn, Callista. Callista is obviously a very strong pick. Evelyn too. Ari's probably more of a target ban. And Azir, Lulu, Gangplank, all three of those definitely power picks currently. We do have all the Juggernauts open though, so this will probably make for some interesting draft.
This is White Lightning versus Luckerdogs, 7th game of the day, and both of these teams are coming off of 2 wins today. So one of these teams is going home with a straight 3 wins this weekend. And that would be such a feather in their cap. Either way, nice thing to push them up the standings. 3 wins, no losses, make you feel good. Going into this, pretty unusual bans, relatively speaking. You got some of the typical ones, Azir, Gangplank, Callista, but Evelyn, mostly a solo queue ban, and rarely even that. Presumably banned out specifically against someone on the enemy team who mains it. These teams doing their research, knowing who they're up against. But yeah, Lulu, another of those champions you just can't let go through. At least to come in as the first pick. Such a great champion, really showing her worth in Worlds right now. Comes with so much damage, so much base damage, so she can build tanky if you need to, and so much mechanical outplay ability. The answering reply of Thresh and Diana means that you get a really, really good flexible support lane, and this Diana, who has become so popular lately, especially in this double TP meta, because she can teleport in and just wreck someone's day. The response is, however, Mordekaiser. As far as I know, the first Mordekaiser of the day. Really, really fun to watch, but he can really snowball in either direction. He can be really fantastic and really terrible if his team doesn't help him out. In a 1v1 or a 2v2 setup with no involvement from other lanes ganking at all, Mordekaiser can actually suffer some pretty serious problems against peel champions like this Thresh. He has to be able to get in and put out that sustained damage in order to be useful, and we'll have to see if White Lightning can pull that off.
If that is a not support, or if it's not a support, you know what I'm saying, catch my drift, but if that is a Nautilus support, that is definitely going to complement Mordekaiser very well. Mordekaiser excels when he can get in there and fight, and he has people to help him do so, and people that can get in with Mordekaiser, stuff like Thresh or Leona or Nautilus are all very good picks with Mordekaiser in the bot lane, but that could be a jungle or top lane or AP mid Nautilus. You really never know, especially after that last game that we just played. Anything's really on the table. However, I do think these two teams, both top of the table teams, are going to be taking this much more seriously.
I would hope so, and it really looks like it in Champions Select. All sensible picks coming through, a little bit of fun with the Mordekaiser and the Diana, a little bit atypical, but still in the meta. Not champions you get to watch every time, but definitely ones that can bring the win home. The Jinx Thresh lane, in particular, is going to be such a rough matchup for the Mordekaiser, but if he gets ahead, he will destroy.
Yeah, Mordekaiser, the reason you don't see him much is just because he's always banned. It's just such a strong pick right now that there's no reason, unless you have a specific team comp you have in mind when you go to draft it, there's no reason not to pick it when you do that. But we do have the Yasuo and Malphite locked in for the blue team, and that's going to be a pretty hard CC AoE team comp to deal with.
Why Riot thought an ability that did 9 times its base damage was a good idea, I don't know, but apparently they suck at math, because any way you calculate that, even if your base number is really low, that's a lot of damage. That said, Mordekaiser does have to be able to stick to his targets. He needs the team to work with him on that, and this is a Yasuo comp coming in with the Malphite. All of these champions, aside from Mordekaiser, very, very good at sticking to the enemy and locking them down. Mordekaiser himself just brings that extra little bit of, no, you're on my side now.
Yeah, and that's just a strong team comp coming in here. We do have the Orianna locked in for the purple team, or red team, whatever, if you're colorblind or not. I am, so I call them red team, but I just looked up and saw purple team and saw that. But that's beside the point. We do have the Orianna locked in. This is kind of just a very magic damage heavy team comp with the Orianna and the high damage jungle Diana coming in here. It's not a mid lane Diana as we originally suspected. It is a jungle Diana, if I can English correctly. Orianna has a very good engage tool, command, protect onto the Luna rushing Diana. She's in the middle of your entire team. We do see that AoE knock-up she has that drags into her. And then, boom, we have a huge 5-man command shockwave. But it's really up to which team pulls the trigger first. We do have the Narbar to watch out for as well on the purple team of Luckerdogs. But then we do have the Malphite and Yasuo comp, along with the just massive damage Mordekaiser and Nautilus, just keeping everyone extremely locked down. This is going to be a very interesting game. We'll see which team is better at playing these team fights.
The Luckerdogs are, in fact, coming out with a very good Orianna comp. Thresh with his ability to do the Death Sentence into a pole is a great Orianna Ball delivery. Gnar is a great Orianna Ball delivery, and Diana is. The only problem I see with this comp is Jinx does not fit with it. She's good in the sense of the lane mashup of Thresh and Jinx. They're good, but once you head to the late game, you're looking at a whole lot of engage backed up by a Jinx, which is not usually what you want. You want peel with your Jinx. If you're going to go engage, you generally want a more aggressive AD carry, maybe one of those off-meta AD carries like Graves, or if you're looking for something a little more standard, something in the realm of Caitlyn, Ashe, somewhere in there. Particularly the Ashe would have been a really good pickup if you wanted an immobile AD carry with good engage.
Maybe they wanted the mobile AD carry with the potential to just single-handedly carry the game, which I think is what they're trying to do. Just because Akanda is a Diamond 1 player. She's probably the strongest player in this entire game right now. Or he, I guess. Probably him. I don't want to be sexist, but you know, you gotta go with the stereotypes until proven false. We got Akanda, who's a very strong AD carry. Diamond 1, I mean, there's not much else needs to be said. He's just very good AD carry. We'll see if he can take this ball get this ball rolling and not have it stop with that strong Jinx play.
I just got the answer from Anthony. We do have one female in the league, Soul 7's captain. So in this particular game, all males, reasonably safe to make that assumption. As we go into this, what we're going to see is a whole lot of engage from both teams, frankly. That said, the engage coming out from Luckerdogs is pretty much straight in. They don't have a whole lot of extra finagles. They have a whole lot of just beeline into the enemy team, whereas the White Lightnings have to set it up a little bit better. They need to combo with that Yasuo, get the Malphite ult, or the Nautilus ult, the Depth Charge, or the Unstoppable Force to make sure that the wind coming out from Yasuo can knock up a bunch of players at the same time. It will be so on a hair's line which of these teams does a better job of engaging, and it almost comes down to which team can get a catch with either that Thresh or the Elise.
Yeah, another thing I do want to make note of is that I would like to see a lane swap coming out here from the blue team of White Lightning. With the Malphite, he can start Flask and just reasonably hold his own against Thresh and Jinx. Just stand a turret and farm pretty well with the W that empowers his auto attacks and the E to get those CS. And Mordekaiser and Nautilus will be able to safely farm themselves around here against the Gnar. And Gnar is pretty good in a 2v2 or 1v2 as well. But it would be more beneficial to their bot lane than it would be for the bot lane of Luckerdogs. So that's always up on the table. Maybe we'll see double jungle, maybe not. But the game's starting, so we'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Stay tuned. And welcome back onto the Rift. Apparently everyone on this game has NASA supercomputers, because that was like not even 10 seconds for us. And we got a nice game here. On the on the blue side we have White Lightning coming off 2 wins this weekend. And on the red side we got Luckerdogs also coming off 2 wins this weekend. Probably, I would say, the 2 best teams. Maybe White Lightning might be a bit lower, but I would say these are the 2 top of the table teams right now. Everyone wants to beat them, along with Spooky Midnight, who aren't actually in this game. But these 2 teams really look for a good fight. And I'm very interested to see how this goes. As always, I did not introduce myself. I am Swifty. Will be play-by-play casting, and alongside me, we got Fury.
Yeah, Fury Gullum here on the Colorcast, having a great time. Looking forward to watching a real game of League of Legends here. Both teams coming out with perfectly sensible comps and perfectly sensible playstyles so far. The 5-point defense on the left-hand side from White Lightning, while the Luckerdogs go for the 5-point invade, all 5 at the same time into the same spot to get that deep ward in so they can get a better idea of where the jungle is going to start. Yeah,
we do, unless people have some drastic map movements, we are going to see the double jungle. Tongue twister, say that a couple times fast. We do have the double jungle coming across from both teams. Christina and Simkev are going to take the Krug's bot lane, get themselves some early XP, and we are going to see a lane swap coming out from the likes of Luckerdogs. I don't know if this is necessarily in their favor. Maybe they just didn't want to face the Mordekaiser, as I know I sure as hell don't ever want to face a Mordekaiser, but it probably is going to end up benefiting the benefiting White Lightning, unless it catches them so off guard that they make some irrational decisions. But really, I don't see the point of doing this.
I almost feel like Luckerdogs thought that White Lightning would go for the lane swap, and so they tried to lane swap into them and match it. I don't think there's any reason you would ever want to deliberately lane swap against a Mordekaiser. You want that range champion to be able to hold him down to make sure he doesn't make it to late game. As is, he's getting a very real advantage in the start. Wow, Nahar, so close. Not going to have a repeat of last game, though.
Yeah, he is going to survive, and Sala is going to be going with some very aggressive start, trying to interrupt the double jungle of Chickstick LP. Unfortunately, he already took all that, and Habs is going super aggressive here onto Shapanga. Shapanga is going very low. Habs, unfortunately, does have teleport, is going to flash in and miss the auto attack coming out here, and Shapanga is going to take the first blood and survive, as there is no ignite for Hobbs. Hobbs extremely misplayed there, missing his Q onto Shapanga, and that has just got to feel absolutely awful. He almost got the duel, even though he did have teleport, and if he would have hit it, he would have easily got it. And Zeus is going very aggressive here into this jungle.
You gotta adapt to the meta you're playing in. Yeah, sure, the double TP meta is just becoming popular, but you gotta be used to the idea that if you're doing it and your opponent lane isn't, you're facing an early disadvantage in that duel. Yes, he's the Yasuo who almost managed to come up with the kill against that enemy Orianna, but even so, that was probably not a play he should have been trying to make in the first place, no matter how confident he was in himself.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that point. And Wemenas is feeling the pain of this lane swap down in bot lane. He's sitting on 9 CS. However, it looks like it is, at this moment, don't want to speak too soon, but at this moment is going very in favor here for the red team. And Zeus is going to be taking a lot of damage. He's probably going to go down here. He's going to have to flash over the wall. However, double flash, or actually just one flash, and Kirstine is going to hit him with that Mace of Spades. Third proc of that is going to, or second proc, is going to take him out as well. We do have the flash coming out for Christina. Look to see lots of camps coming down onto this bot lane, as there's a flashless and exhaustless Mordekaiser. That's not good, but they are going to take the dragon for their troubles.
Malphite got to top very late. He's going to lose his tower, and he lost a bunch of experience initially. That said, his team manages to answer down bottom and get this dragon, which should make it an easy tower pickup for the Mordekaiser. That extra dragon early on, there's no way that Nara can stop that.
Yeah,
so it's a bit of a back and forth here, one trade of advantage for the other, but it was a planned play by the Luckerdogs, whereas White Lightning just happened to grab a handy extra catch. They can't count on getting that over and over again. Luckerdogs will tighten up their play, and they will force White Lightning to work for this a little more.
Yeah, and Habs is now feeling the pain of what happens if an Orianna gets ahead of you in lane. You can't out-trade her, you just can't. He's going to just dash right onto her. Here comes the command protect, and then the dissonance. However, Habs is a very strong Nashville player. I guess he's making it work sometimes. Much better player than I am. So I guess he knows this matchup way more than I do. I'm a bot lane main, so as we were talking about the double TP meta earlier, that's the bane of my existence. It's no fun to play bot lane right now, when every time you get into a fight, oh, here comes 4 members teleporting in, and now you're dead and can't buy anything because all the items are so expensive. Maybe that's why Mordekaiser is such a contested pick, because he can deal with this as well. I mean, also the fact that his numbers are completely outrageous, but this is a good help too.
outrageous is the right word for it. The ability for this Q to put out the most incredible chunking is just it's outrageous. That said, you're right. You're absolutely right. His ability to counter those massive dives bottom is one of the things that makes him so good. The more champions that go against him, the tankier he becomes because he gets more opportunities to put shield onto himself. He does plenty of AoE damage, and if he gets focused on a single target, suddenly the numbers swing dramatically in your favor. So, yeah, absolutely. In this meta, Mordekaiser not just coming out with the numbers, but also with the style necessary to do well.
This lane swap is very painful for the top lane of Ice Senpai as he's sitting on bags CS levels here. 11 at 6 minutes. The enemy laner's at 30. He is picking up some right now as he is in lane solo, and then his turret is down. Look to see him getting ganked a bit to put him even more behind. But the thing about Malphite is he doesn't need gold to be that effective as compared to Gnar. He just needs to be able to press R onto an enemy character, preferably carry character, as we did see some poor Malphite play in the World Finals earlier today from Dyrus. But hey, I can't disrespect the guy. He's been playing so long and so good. Great career coming out from him. But let's see if Ice Senpai can carry on the Dyrus legacy or carry on his own legacy of hitting 5-man Malphites at ults every fight.
That would be spectacular. If you can land 5-man Malphites ults, you don't even need items.
We do have some problem here as Simkev is going to get pulled into the tower. Death Sentence and the Flame Chomper's coming down. However, the Zap is going to miss. Better Call Salah is going to kind of keep going. Ignite is popped for them. Nothing else was popped other than Ignite, and not really any damage coming out here, but Habs is going to go in with the Heselio. Is going to completely miss on the Shapanga, but really, it's about sending a message as Yasuo. You miss all the tornadoes, basically you take, and Hobbs is taking a lot of damage from that combo, Command Dissonance. This is what happens, as I was saying, when an Orianna gets fed early, because it is almost impossible to deal with.
Well, Yasuo is actually doing pretty good. Yeah, sure, he's died once, but he's still sitting on actually a small CS advantage at this point. 1 point of CS, whoop-de-doo.
1 CS, I mean, huge advantage. You got that 15 gold.
If you make it through lane as a Yasuo, in a Yasuo comp without anyone being able to shut you down, that's really a win for you. Yeah, sure, your wind wall in fights is a direct counter to Orianna because she's going to whiff those balls, as we've seen a couple of times.
Zeus is going to come in, he's going to wind wall the first Luna Rush, or not Luna Rush, Crescent Strike, so he can't get the double Luna Rush. Good play coming out from Hobbs. He did have to flash.
And now he's going to find himself in a serious issue up against that Orianna, because even though Orianna's a little low on mana, she has a massive health advantage on him. It'll be,
and Hobbs might be going down here. Shapanga probably could have pulled the trigger and easily killed him. He had no flash. I don't know why he didn't. I was waiting for Orianna to flash shockwave him, unless it's done. No, everything's up. Habs has nothing. That was an easy kill. However, Ice Senpai, now it's a bit late as Ice Senpai is coming around the back. This could be a problem here for Shapanga. Habs does still have his ults up. Chickstig LP taking a lot of damage from all those minions. And this could be a... Oh, Chickstig LP, he still has flash up. I don't think Shapanga has enough mana to deal with this. If he did, that could have been a very risky play coming out from White Lightning.
Slick jukes by Shapanga, dodging the cocoon. We've seen a couple of instances of fancy feet already in this game, people getting out of those skill shots. And if skill shots don't land, both of these teams are going to have a hard time starting fights. Luckerdogs can do a little bit better with the Gnar engage and the Diana to follow up, but even so, that's not a whole lot of charge at your enemy. That's only team... Oh, and
here we go. As Hobbs is going to go down here. He does have that Ignite ticking. Can he do some fancy faker feed? He is going to pop in with the last breath. Is going to get the shield from his passive. Way the Wanderer, but he's probably going to go down. The flash from Zeus did blow a flash for his troubles. Good play coming out from Hobbs. He should not have put himself in that situation. So greedy, trying to get that extra gold coming out, and he should have known Shapanga's flash and everything was up. Not a good play coming out there from him. However, he did get the flash, as I already stated. This is going to transition into a lot of damage on this mid turret from the Diana.
Diana is so good at pushing turrets that every third hit bonus damage from her passive hits so hard against these turrets and helps chunk them out. She won't quite get the turret, only about half health, because Elise is going to come in here and save it. That said, it's still a nice bit of damage. And on top,
and wow. Zeus taking a lot. This is why Elise is such a contested pick, as he is going to just... He has not even a... Or does he have a complete... Yeah, I think he does. He does not even have a completed jungle item and is almost full to zero. But that's a super aggressive flash coming from Chickstig LP. He's going to hit the cocoon, but he is going to go down. And Better Call Saul is very low. So is Zeus. They may have been allowed for way more than they can chew. And Kuristine is going to come in with the double kill. That is the champion you want the double kill on, the complete least. This is not good, but Akonda with the almost cross map. No, he was pretty close. I mean, I can still give him credit because those are pretty hard. Those Mega Death Rockets, not so mega are the hitboxes sometimes, but he does get that kill onto the Jinx. Good play coming out from the Luckerdogs after they did lose 2 of their members to the Morgue.
Very nicely done. 2 for 2, but unfortunately, both of those kills for White Lightning went over to the Mordekaiser. He is a 3-0-0 Mordekaiser with the highest farm in the game. He is going to be so lethal. They're going to have to watch out for this. If he can get onto any of their carries, he will dismantle them. And he's going for that first item, Rylai's Crystal Scepter, to make sure that he's able to stick to his targets. He's going to slow so much.
Yeah, I feel like Christina may be leaning towards the much more AP-oriented Mordekaiser build this game, because really they don't have much AP damage, magic damage that is, other than Chickstig LP and Ice Senpai if he ever gets more than 50 CS this game. Better Call Saul, probably in a bad place here. Dragon was secured from Luckerdogs, but they did just lose a member. And there's that Yasuo counter to Orianna. Can't do anything with that. He can't replace the ball around the team fights. He can't get shockwaves off. He can't auto attack. Orianna is just not doing very well, or not going to do very well in the team fights. And Nakonda, with some fancy feet, is going to dodge all skill shots thrown at him. Great play from him coming out to get away from the scary spider, and then the Big Daddy from Bioshock coming out there. Good play from Nakonda. But they are going to lose a turret, I should add. So, obviously, Luckerdogs could have been doing something better there, but they just weren't, because this is not Worlds. This is House Party 5v5, where people are imperfect.
We are looking at fairly even CS numbers, fairly even kill numbers, 1 dragon each. The only
but here we go, we do have a fight as a huge shockwave coming out from Shapanga, as we have just see absolute meltage coming out, but Kuristina is just a monster. We do see Hobbs is going to be spamming the emo. Chickstig LP very low. Worma is almost with the big rage. And that's going to be a lot of damage coming out here. Hobbs is going to go down in the back foot, and that's going to be an ace coming off of an absolute massacre of a wombo combo from Shapanga. I'm so excited I can't even talk. That was beautifully executed, and Nard just got there just in time to hit a nice 2-man ultimate after the fact to clean up Kuristina. Fantastic play from Luckerdogs to put them ahead of this Mordekaiser.
The 4-man Orianna Shockwave into the 3-man Diana Moonfall. So many knockups, keeping their team out of the fight so much. Even so, White Lightning almost managed to turn that fight around until Gnar came in on the backside and took them apart. That could have gone either way. That was an absolutely glorious setup by Luckerdogs. But if they hadn't had it, they would have lost that fight. So they can't get cocky. They can't push this lead that they've just given themselves too hard, or they'll end up turning it back over to White Lightning.
Yeah, see, that was a 4v5, and this is what I was talking about in Champ Select, is whatever team pulls the trigger first is gonna be the team to win the team fights, and that was Luckerdogs in that scenario, and maybe next time it'll be White Lightning. It's really about who can press R better and faster.
Now, even though they're 4 kills up, most of their gold lead is actually coming from this turret advantage that they have. So if Luckerdogs lose some of their turrets, they could find themselves in an even matchup. White Lightning has been doing a very good job of getting the little objectives, the little numbers, so that they can keep their money up, and that was a lovely win wall.
However, Hobbs is going to have to flash coming out, as the red buff from Womenaz is very scary to him, and the threat of the Orianna Shockwave is always there. He does have flash up. Nope, never mind. He does have flash up. I'm really excited. I kind of want to see, but Simkev could be in trouble here as he does get caught with the Death Sentence trying to clear some more. Shapanga going to take a lot of damage. Hobbs is not going in. He's just going to spam his emote off in the background. Probably shouldn't be doing that when your buddy's killed, but that was his own fault. Simkev shouldn't have been there with clearing wards without the rest of his team. But what I was saying, never mind, I'm interrupted again, is Better Call Saul is going to be taking a huge chunk out with the help of the Command Dissonance combo from Shapanga. He's just going to back off here. Maybe, can I finish the thought here? Let's try 3rd time's a charm, as I really want to see a Shockwave Flash coming out from Shapanga. I mean, it's not the best opportunity always, especially when it's on top of you and you flash in the middle of everyone, but it's hugely surprising, and you catch a lot of teams off guard from it. But hey, these guys know better than me. We'll see what happens.
Luckerdogs got a kill and the teleport out of the Malphite. So even they removed that teleport advantage that White Lightning had for themselves, and now they force them back into a bit of a corner here.
Yeah, the Luckerdogs, they did get that helpful play there, but they are missing both teleports, and we do have the siege coming out here. Luckerdogs not in good place here at all. Their AD carries back, their mid laner was also back, and this is going to be a gone turret. Zeus could have been gone onto from Hobbs there with the last breath. However, he decided to just not go in with the pull and trigger. They definitely could have won that fight, however, I guess they were hesitant to do that. Dragon spawning in a minute 30. There's probably going to be some fight over this next spawning Scuttle Crab, if it not least the dragon afterwards.
A real lack of confidence coming out from White Lightning. They almost didn't end up taking that turret down because they were so afraid of the engage from Luckerdogs. They should have been able to take that out in a moment and then back off. Would have been the much safer play, would have been the much smoother play, but they're scared. They've been knocked down. They're 5-10. They do not want to lose this game. This is their last game of the day. This is the league's last game of the day, and if they win, they're going 3-0. They really want this, but instead of making them more aggressive, it's making them play a little more passive. Luckerdogs, however, is taking that advantage and rolling with it. They're pushing. They're going as far forward as they can, taking what they can out of it. They've gotten that extra turret, that extra gold, those extra kills, and we have to see White Lightning pull something out. They can't just keep sitting back and waiting for Luckerdogs to mess up. They have to make a play of their own, hopefully in 20 seconds at this next dragon.
I just want to take a moment here to talk about the less than stellar itemization coming out from White Lightning. I have two things to really have a bone to pick here, and the first is, oh, that's going to be a flash coming out from the Orianna. That's that flash you definitely want to burn. Good cooldown burn from Simkev, but the itemization from Malphite is just poor. Rushing the Frozen Heart is good if you're facing an all-AD team, but this team is primarily magic damage, and he rushed a Frozen Heart, he's already behind, he has basically no health and is getting completely melted, but I think there's a fight about to break out as Baron is secured, or Dragon rather, but the Dragon is just doing absolute work. We did have a wonderful shockwave, however we do see the last breath combo coming out from the Unstoppable Force of Malphite. We do have a great Chain Chompers coming down, and that's going to be a kill, two kills in the game rather, and that's going to be Elise going down and Gnar, and that's a lot of damage. The Dragon just did absolute work. Another phenomenal shockwave coming out from Shapanga, but unfortunately the Dragon just did like so much damage and so much AoE, especially with that slow it has from the Rylai's from Mordekaiser. Not much Luckerdogs could do. They needed to secure that Dragon to win that fight, and they didn't.
The shockwaves have really been glorious this game, but White Lightning just a little bit out of that game. They make the call to rush that Dragon down, and it gives them the advantage they need when they go in for the team fight afterwards. All of those Luckerdogs members grouped up together took a lot of damage from that Dragon, and it let them break even. That said, if you get the Dragon and you have Dragon on your side and all you do is break even in the subsequent team fight, that is a very bad sign for White Lightning. They need to be able to capitalize more kills out of those small advantages, or they're just going to keep falling behind, because Luckerdogs is absolutely capitalizing when they get an advantage. Like, look at this tier 2 turret just going down.
Yeah, I do what I was about to say, actually, before I was so rudely interrupted by action happening in this game, is I also don't agree with Hab's itemization choice. The Static Shiv obviously is 100% crucial rush. Every single game happens for Yasuo. But going for the Blade of the Rune King's second item, people usually purchase Blade of the Rune King when they need help kiting, especially on AD carries. But in the bruiser sense, you want to place it, you want to buy it when you have a lot of bruisers on the enemy team or a lot of hyper tanks. The only tank they have is Gnar, and if you're attacking Gnar as Yasuo, your team fight's already not going very well. And combined with the fact that he is kind of behind 0-3 right now as Yasuo, at least compared to Shapanga, he's not going to be getting much autos off, but this is not good. And Shapanga gets caught, has no flash. The beautiful dredge line coming out from Nautilus and Simkev. Now what you want to be doing when your team's pretty much hyper carry at this point, definitely should have been staying further back. But to collaborate on my earlier point, is when he's going Blade of the Rune King, he's not getting much burst damage. Yasuo in this team comp is almost only there just to follow up with the Malphite ult and deal tons of damage. That deals more damage based on your crit and auto attack damage, or crit and base AD. Blade of the Rune King gives neither of those stats, and that is just going to be a very low power spike compared to Triforce or Infinity Edge that he could be buying.
It's bad on this team comp, it's bad on this champion. You're right, it's not what he should be buying. Blade of the Rune King does percent health on current health damage, which is kind of unusual, but there you are. So it's good against tanks, and more importantly, it's active. It works best if the enemy team has a very limited number of carries because it lets you stick to that carry. If they've only got 1 or 2 threats, then sure, you take it because you can lock that person down and kill them, and then the rest of the team doesn't matter. They're up against a 3-threat team. Orianna, Jinx, and Diana all have very large potential for damage output, so he can't just burst a single target down and be done for the day. Yeah, questionable item choices. That said, Mordekaiser doing pretty well. The Nautilus immediately going for that Aegis, going for the Locket. That's going to be very useful to his team. And you're up against some somewhat interesting item choices, like rushing the Nashers as your second item on Diana is kind of a strange pick altogether. And the Gnar has 0 armor. Now, granted, the only person on the team that he's up against that he would expect to do armor damage...
Wemnez is going to be in a lot of trouble here, as Hobbs is just doing some work on this Yasuo. You can see his proficiency with this champ. Wemnez is going to get knocked up and immediately last breathed on by Hobbs. There comes the emote spam coming in here. Better Call Salah is in a lot of trouble here now. However, there is a lot of team coming out. We do have the teleports coming in. Akanda just dealing a lot of damage with the rockets. Senpai is just there for the added bonus of I'm a super hollowed rock monster. But Chapanga with an only 1-man shockwave, he's probably going to go down from that Cursina. Senpai's coming in with the 3-man knockup, and Yasuo is just cleaning house here. Zeus is going to come in, try to get Habs here, and he's just going to barely get out of there. Can't get the last crescent sweep. Very good play coming out here from White Lightning, and very poor play coming out from Luckerdogs, and they're probably going to make a move toward Baron.
Luckerdogs feeding themselves into the mill one at a time. Down they go, and here's the Baron. That is really, really rough for them. Fantastic play coming out. The Malphite, the Yasuo ult after the Nautilus ult. Just on point play by this entire team, proving me wrong. They are absolutely willing to go for these fights. They're willing to take advantages off of the little things that they get, and it gets them so much. They're up to a 3k gold lead. They have Baron. They have a small dragon advantage. If they can capitalize on this, this game could be theirs.
Yeah. If Chapanga did not get a 1-man ult onto Simkev's support Nautilus, I feel like that fight may have gone a bit different. Also, he was kind of out of position. He tried to flank and ended up not getting anything except death in return. Not really the type of reward you're wanting when you're going for that try-hard flank. And then Hobbs' Yasuo was just on point. As soon as we are questioning his item decision, he's like, you know what, screw you guys, I'm showing you how good I am with this champ. And he just goes ham. Better Call Saul kind of split the goalpost there with his Stessens and Flay. Not really what you want to see coming out, especially when you are behind. These shockwaves have been so magnificent in the past fights that they've won, and oh, they're looking Christina could be in trouble here, as he's going to have to flash out. Chickstick LP is going to get instantly blown up. That's an AP at least, not a tank at least, but he is going to repel away. Here comes the last breath, unstoppable force combo. This is what I was talking about. Absolutely ridiculous. There's a shockwave, try to salvage this. Chapanga's going to go down. Akanda's going to be next. He's going to flash away. Senpai's going to follow up with the flash of his own. Unstoppable force and last breath is such a good combo.
All I can do is applaud. Well done by White Lightning. Malphite used his ult on cooldown, maybe half a second between it coming up and him using it. That fight was at the absolute perfect time. Maybe planning, maybe luck, but either way, it comes in perfectly for them with the Yasuo follow-up, and they tear Luckerdogs apart. Just only losing one for so much. And they've got Dragon and Baron buff.
Yeah, this game is quickly spiraling out of control. What was a 3k gold lead for the Luckerdogs is now a almost 7k gold lead for White Lightning. 8-1 Mordekaiser, that is not what you want to see when you are playing League of Legends at all. In fact, really, you don't want to see a Mordekaiser in the game, but they let that slip through, and then the rest of the team just went absolutely ham.
She's being Chapanga and Orianna is being killed by this dragon. The Rylai's Crystal Scepter keeping her pinned down.
Oh man, that is a lot of damage. Orianna's going to have to command shield it away. And good play from Christina. Good macro coming out. Making sure you can still use that dragon when you're on the other side of the map. But yeah, that just shows when you're being killed by a ghost, your game is looking pretty south.
Yeah, they have to get the Mordekaiser, but it's so hard. he's such a tanky Mordekaiser. Even though he's gone for damage, he's still got the health from Rylai's, the magic resistant armor from the Zonias and the Abyssal, and then the Zonias to keep him safe, plus the Merc Turrets, so you can't, like, stun lock him. This is such a safe play from a champion that's so ahead. And then on top of that, you've got the damage coming out from Yasuo to back you up. Really, really good comp and really, really good play by White Lightning. You're seeing pretty good play by the Luckerdogs, but their comp cannot keep up. Their comp requires them to land all their ults all the time, and they whiffed them in a couple of fights. And they just can't afford that. As shown by the fact that they're now sitting nearly 7k gold down with back all the way to their inhibitor turrets.
Yes, that is definitely correct. And what I was talking about earlier, Senpai really stepped up after being at like 30 CS at 10 minutes with his Malphite. He's been absolutely on point with his unstoppable forces leading into Hab's last breaths. Oh man, my throat is not cooperating with me. But great play coming out from the White Lightning in these team fights. Exactly what they need to be doing, they are doing.
And it's so, if they just keep it slow and methodical, don't back off, but don't overpress their advantage, these should be easy fights for them. The Gnar is sitting on a large chunk of Rage Bar here, so if Luckerdogs can manage to force a fight here, that would be good for them, but White Lightning decides, no, that's a little too much, we're going to back off, we're going to take some global objectives, get our gold back up a bit before we do anything else.
Yeah, that is definitely a Better Call Salah. Better Call Salah? I don't know. I just keep saying it differently every time I say it. Is not been on point with this Thresh today. Maybe he has better games. In fact, I did watch a game earlier today where he was just fantastic. But his death sentences and flays just not what you want to see out of support. If you're gonna miss him, play Nautilus so you can just get in the middle of everyone and then just absolutely destroy things with your E and W and just deal tons of AoE damage and knockup. But they did end up, Nautilus was picked in the first rounds of drafting. Speaking of drafting, White Lightning really, from the start of this game, I thought they were going to take it with this phenomenal draft they had. They got everything they wanted. Their team comp is just impeccable. They're good at everything. They're good at team fights. They're good at siege. Or actually, no, they're actually pretty awful at sieging with this. That's one thing they can't do. They can't siege. They have to split push, and that, I think I accidentally highlighted the weak point of this team comp. They have a melee. Every single one of them is melee except Elise, and Elise is doing no damage to towers. This could actually be the downfall of White Lightning. If Luckerdogs wants to play this out, they could be able to come back because there's no towers able to be killed. Weems is going to get a nice bounce and hop out of there. Good flash coming out from him. Simkev does blow the flash, but Chixlp going to narrowly escape that death sentence.
Not enough vision on the map for Luckerdogs. They've got like 3 wards outside of their base, and it's just not giving them the vision they need to know where White Lightning is going. White Lightning can rotate around, try and get from one turret to the other, because they certainly aren't going to take down a turret that's defended, not with their team comp.
Yeah, and that's what they are trying to do right now. Oh, Better Call Salah is going to go in with this flash death sentence, and is going to get the flash out of Kirstina. That is a good cooldown they want. Orianna, let's see if she can make any plays. They are down a lot of gold, but one good catch on them will pretty much bring this game back dead even, because they're going to get some towers, get some team fight wins, and most importantly, get some morale back, because if I was on this team, my morale would be, okay, we let the Mordekaiser through, oh, and he's 8-1. This is not good.
They are only 3 kills down, and they know they can win fights off of the back of those massive Orianna ults. So if they can keep it together, they should feel reasonable. They should actually probably feel better about this game than it actually is. I would think if I were them, I would feel better. That is, Yasuo is split pushing, and apparently they haven't noticed. They're like, oh, I guess we'll go for Baron, who's coming up now while Yasuo takes our turrets.
Yeah, they are going to go in Simcap. There comes a great Orianna ult, followed up by the Diana going in. Zeus is going to get absolutely destroyed. No chance to use any abilities. Senpai is just an absolute tank machine. Yasuo did teleport in. He's going to take down everyone. This is just an absolute routing. Absolutely phenomenally played coming out from White Lightning. This game should have been over a while ago from Luckerdogs, but they win fight after fight after fight, and they're up 11k gold, about to take Baron and knock on Heaven's Door of the base of Luckerdogs after that. Good play coming in from Luckerdogs, but better play coming in from White Lightning, and that's going to be the surrender. White Lightning's going to take this win and go 3-0 this week. After some poor showings in the first couple weeks, White Lightning coming up huge.
Yeah, the 3-0. I mean, that's got to feel good. They're coming in, they get down a little bit, but then they come back so decisively. They just took Luckerdogs apart. A slightly better map rotation, and then when it came to the team fight, they were all in. No hesitation. They worked together, and they won together. Nicely done.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be it for us basically this week. Every phenomenal play coming out from all the teams. I'd say the highlight of the night was the Zany Superstars game last game before this one. Bag showing why he is a world-class AD carry. But other than that, we got nothing. We have some minor league games. First week of minor leagues coming up tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Going to be phenomenal games coming out all across there. There's going to be some teams that are better than some teams in the Premier League. Look to see some great competition coming out from the minor league. And I am Swifty, signing off.
I am the battle force, hammer is made of the monster in the closet that Baron's afraid of the reason.